Hi friends, today we have the fortune of talking with Donna Smith from UND about how CVIC interacts with her office and students. Just give us some perspective about how CVIC interfaces with your office on campus.
I work with CVIC at UND both in terms of our confidential campus advisor, who now is full-time on campus, and our campus prevention education specialist. We began in January of 2015 by bringing a part-time confidential advocate, confidential advisor on campus. And we really felt there was a need to have confidential place for survivors of violence to go on campus, partly because it's just a good thing, it's the right thing to do for our campus members, but also because Title IX, which is the federal law that prohibits discrimination and harassment based on sex in our institution, has some very strict and broad reporting requirements. And we wanted to make sure that especially our students had a place to go where they could ask questions, someone on campus who could be that confidential support person, both, unfortunately after an event might happen, what kind of confidential support and resources do they need, but also working with students to prevent that violence from happening, teaching them about healthy relationships, boundary setting, how to stand up for their friends. I think it's been a game changer for our whole campus.
Can you share a little bit more how the relationship's grown over the years?
When we had a part-time advocate on campus, that was fantastic, but we were always concerned about who are we missing. If someone works up the courage to come to the door or make the phone call and then happens to not find anybody there, are they going to come back? We were always concerned about that. So in January of 2022, we received some additional funding to allow the campus confidential advisor to be here full time. And that, again, has been another game changer. Alice and Lindsay work together full time. There's always somebody available in the office. And while we had thought that in her downtime, she would be assisting with prevention activities and with education activities, we have found that she's so busy providing support, providing advocacy, that she doesn't really get to do that the way we initially had thought. In the 2022-23 school year, Lindsay provided support for 53 different individuals on campus, and she spent over 200 hours providing that direct support to those people. It's a strong need. That's 53 people who may not have gotten that support somewhere else because they may not have had the means to come to the downtown office. And they don't necessarily know what CVIC is or what they do, and they may not realize that there's somebody there to help them. And so by bringing that to campus, not only are we providing that service to them, but they are working hard to get that awareness out that this is something that's available for our campus community.
I appreciate you sharing that so much. It gives us hope for what we can do, especially on the prevention side, and hopefully we can change this for the next generation. You've invested a lot professionally into this relationship, but you also give personally as a dream maker. And I'm just curious why you and your husband, Chris, who's also a long-term partner, former law enforcement, why do you both decide to give?
It's a long story. No, it's a long story. And I appreciate you asking it. So my husband, Chris, grew up in a home with violence. And then later, as an adult, began a career in law enforcement where he was the person helping those victims, helping those survivors. Through those connections, became then involved with CVIC and has done volunteering and has done speaking. So for him, both professionally and personally, he was already invested. I was too. And then this opportunity came along at UND where I could take that personal interest, that personal commitment, and start working in that area professionally. And then the opportunity to tie all of those things together by supporting CVIC personally as a dream maker just kind of brings everything around full circle.
I've heard Chris speak a couple times, And I'm always just so moved. I think one of the most powerful things I heard him say was when he was first in law enforcement, and I always get choked up when I say this, but that he would look for the kids because he used to be that kid hiding under the table. And I just hope, with your help, with Chris's help, and other folks like you, that there won't be any more children hiding under tables in a few years. So,
If I could have a part in working myself out of a job
Right.
and go and find another career, I would be very happy
well,
with
maybe
that.
that could be both our goals. Just try to work ourselves out of a job. Thank you so much.